Hi, this is Debbie from DIY Domination. Have you ever wondered how to make the perfect homemade guacamole? Delving into the heart of Mexican cuisine, guacamole is more than just a dip. It's a celebration of fresh, vibrant flavors. Originating from the Aztecs in the 16th century, this timeless recipe has evolved, traveled, and charmed its way onto tables worldwide. The magic of guacamole lies in its simplicity, with ripe avocados as the star of the show. Supporting roles are played by a vibrant ensemble of ingredients: the tangy twist of lime, the crunch of finely diced onions, the sweet juiciness of Roma tomatoes, the aromatic punch of garlic, and, for those who dare, the fiery kick of jalapeno peppers. To tie it all together, we have the fresh, green notes of cilantro and the classic duo of salt and pepper. All these elements work in harmony to create a dip that's creamy, zesty, and utterly irresistible. So grab your avocados and get ready to make an amazing guacamole dip. By the way, if you like this video and would like to see more videos with cooking advice and recipes, make sure to click the subscribe button and become part of the DIY Domination community today. The star of our guacamole is, of course, the avocado. Avocados are the heart and soul of guacamole, and selecting the right ones can make a world of difference. When choosing avocados, look for ones that yield slightly to gentle pressure. They should feel soft but not mushy. If they're too firm, they're not ripe yet. And if they're too soft, they might be overripe. Once you've selected the perfect avocados, it's time to prepare them. Start by slicing each avocado in half lengthwise. To remove the pit, you can either gently tap it with a knife and twist to remove, or you can scoop it out with a spoon. Both methods work, so it's really up to your personal preference. Now that the avocados are halved and pitted, it's time to scoop out that delicious creamy flesh. Using a spoon, scoop the avocado flesh out of its skin and place it in a mixing bowl. Be sure to scrape the skin well to get all the good stuff. Now comes the fun part, mashing. How you mash your avocados will determine the texture of your guacamole. If you prefer a chunkier guacamole, use a fork to lightly mash the avocados. If you like your guacamole smoother, you can mash them more thoroughly. You can even use a potato masher or a molcajete if you have one. Remember, the goal here is to achieve your desired level of creaminess. Some people like their guacamole with a bit of texture, while others prefer it silky smooth. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about what you prefer. This is the beauty of homemade guacamole. You're in control, and you can customize it to your liking. Now that we have our avocados prepped, it's time to add some flavor. The secret to a great guacamole lies in its flavors, and a key player in this game of taste is lime juice. Lime is the citrusy secret weapon of guacamole. It not only adds that tangy kick, but it also helps preserve the vibrant green color of the avocado. This is because lime juice acts as an antioxidant, preventing the guacamole from browning too quickly. So squeeze the juice of one lime over the mashed avocado and mix well. With the tangy lime juice enhancing the creamy avocado, it's time to add some crunch and freshness. Enter the finely diced onion. This little ingredient adds a bite and an edge to our guacamole. But we're not stopping there. Next, we're throwing in some diced Roma tomatoes. These tomatoes, with their firm texture and sweet tart flavor, complement the creaminess of the avocado and add a pop of color to our guacamole. Now, let's talk garlic. 2 cloves, minced, are all you need to elevate your guacamole from good to great. Garlic adds an aromatic depth that pairs beautifully with the other ingredients. Just remember to mince it finely for an even distribution of flavor. Mixing these ingredients into the mashed avocado is like a symphony of flavors coming together. Each ingredient, from the creamy avocado to the tangy lime juice, the crunchy onion, the sweet tomatoes, and the aromatic garlic, plays its own part. But when combined, they create a melody of flavors that's harmonious and simply irresistible. Now, look at the guacamole. Notice how the colors of the avocado, tomato, and onion create a beautiful palette. And the aroma. It's a tantalizing blend of freshness, tanginess, and earthiness that's just begging to be tasted. With these ingredients mixed in, our guacamole is starting to take shape. But we're not finished yet. The next step will bring some heat and herbal notes to our guacamole. So stay tuned as we continue to build this flavor masterpiece. Now let's turn up the heat a notch and add some freshness. It's time to introduce the jalapeno peppers into the mix. Depending on your heat tolerance, you might opt for 1 or 2 jalapenos. If you're a fan of all things spicy, 2 peppers will do the trick. However, if you're more on the mild side, 1 pepper will suffice. The first step is to slice your jalapenos in half lengthwise. After that, use a spoon to carefully scrape out the seeds and the white membranes. These are the hottest parts of the pepper, so removing them will temper the heat. Next, you'll want to mince the jalapenos into tiny pieces. Remember, the smaller the pieces, the more evenly distributed the heat will be throughout your guacamole. Now, onto the cilantro. This herb is a classic in guacamole and brings a fresh, almost citrus-like flavor to the dish. Start by picking the leaves off the stems, as the stems can be a bit tough. Once you have a good handful of leaves, bunch them together and finely chop them. You're aiming for about a quarter cup of chopped cilantro, but if you're a cilantro lover, feel free to add more. Time to bring it all together. Toss your minced jalapenos and chopped cilantro into the bowl with your avocados. Mix well to ensure the heat and freshness are evenly distributed throughout your guacamole. Don't be afraid to give it a taste at this point. You're the chef after all. Remember, cooking is about adjusting and personalizing to your own taste. If you feel your guacamole needs more heat, add more jalapeno. If it needs a little more freshness, throw in some extra cilantro. It's your dish, so make it how you like it. We're almost done. Just a few final touches to go. Stay tuned for the next scene where we'll be adding the final seasonings and giving our guacamole a good mix. A well-seasoned dish is a tasty dish, and guacamole is no exception to this rule. Now it's time to season our homemade guacamole. We're using the classic duo of salt and pepper. Start by sprinkling a pinch of salt over your mixture. The salt will work to enhance the natural flavors of the ingredients we've already added. Think of it as the conductor of an orchestra, bringing out the best in each component. Then, follow up with a dash of black pepper. Pepper adds a subtle heat and complexity to our guacamole, making it irresistibly delicious. But remember, it's always easier to add more seasoning than to take it away. So start with a little, give your guacamole a good mix, and then taste. If you feel it needs more, add another pinch of salt or dash of pepper. Speaking of mixing, let's talk about that. The goal is to combine all the ingredients thoroughly, ensuring every scoop of guacamole has a bit of everything. Creamy avocado, crunchy onion, juicy tomato, aromatic garlic, spicy jalapeno, and fresh cilantro. But while mixing, be gentle. You don't want to turn your guacamole into a puree. A good mix also helps to distribute the seasoning evenly throughout the guacamole. So once you're done seasoning, give your guacamole one last good mix. Our guacamole is almost ready. It's time for the final check. The final step is always the most exciting, the taste test. It's time to put your culinary senses to the test. Grab a chip or simply a spoon and dive into your homemade masterpiece. As you savor the flavors, think about what might enhance this guacamole even more. Is it lacking a bit of salt? Could it use another squeeze of lime or perhaps a dash more of pepper? Remember, the beauty of homemade guacamole is that you're in control. You can tweak and adjust to your heart's content until you've created your perfect version. Now let's talk about serving. Guacamole is incredibly versatile. It's a crowd pleaser at parties, served alongside a bowl of crisp tortilla chips. But don't stop there. It's a delicious accompaniment to grilled steak or chicken, a flavorful spread on a sandwich, or a zesty topping for your morning toast. And of course, it's an essential component of any taco or nacho dish. Remember, guacamole is best when it's fresh, so don't be shy about digging in as soon as you've made it. However, if you're not quite ready to serve, simply press a piece of plastic wrap directly onto the surface to prevent it from browning. There you have it, the perfect homemade guacamole. Enjoy the fruits of your labor and the burst of flavors that this simple yet extraordinary dish brings. But what if you've made too much guacamole? Well, don't worry, there's a solution for that. If you find yourself with leftover guacamole, here's how to store it properly to maintain its freshness and keep it from browning. You'll want to press a piece of plastic wrap directly onto the surface of the guacamole, ensuring that there's minimal air exposure. Then pop it into the refrigerator. This method helps to prevent the guacamole from turning brown, which can sometimes happen when it's exposed to air for too long. However, remember that guacamole is best when it's fresh, so try to consume it within a day or two of making it. That way, you'll enjoy the fullest flavor and the most vibrant color. And there you have it. Now you know how to make the perfect homemade guacamole. Enjoy! If you liked this video, then make sure to also watch these videos for more DIY cooking tips and tricks.